Pretty much. Not during the summer so much.
So far, I don't have to
She is, yeah. Luciano. Good to see you. Good.
Go ahead.
Hello, happy Tuesday. I know we're trickling in little by little, and we've got some people that are out of town and some that have some work meetings that sent me messages. So we're going to go on. We have an awesome speaker today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Fred B is coming with our invocation, and then we'll have our pledge, and then Molly will start our introduction of guests.
Thank you, Tamara. Would you bow with me, please? Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you once again for this wonderful day that you have created for us. Lord, looking over the scope of what's happening in this country weather-wise, we want to keep those folks in our prayers because some of this stuff that's happening is so devastating. And I know they need prayers of hope and organizations to step up and help them out. And that's what Rotary will probably do in some aspects, is to live up to our model of service above self. Again, we thank you for this day. We thank you for those that are here and those that are online, and be with those that aren't with us and bring them back to us. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
If we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And Molly's coming, I believe. Molly's coming, and then the brags are after that.
Hello. I'm so glad for everyone that is here today and those that are online. Do we have anyone online?
Just Kelly right now.
Hi, Kelly. Hello. Well, I'm happy to introduce Billy Whitson, and he's going to be our speaker a little later, so you'll learn a lot more about him. He's with Texas Health. And Roxana, she has a very special guest as well that she's going to introduce. Hello, yes.
So Kelly can see you.
Hi, well, as you know, I am the youth exchange person here in our club, and I am very proud to introduce Miku-san. She is our exchange student. She just arrived from Japan last Saturday, and we, as Plano West Rotary Club, we sponsor her. She's our student. We are responsible for her for anything she needs. She's our baby, in other words. So Miku is she's going to introduce. She might use a mix of English and Spanish. You're gonna say your name. No, not Spanish.
You taught her quickly. She's only been there since Saturday, and Roxana's got her speaking Spanish.
Oh my gosh, English and Japanese, Nihongo. You introduce yourself. My name is.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Miku Nishihara. Nishihara is family name. Call me Miku, please. I'm 17 years old.
Nihongo?
Yes,
What part of Japan?
Yes.
Where in Japan?
Ni
Tokyo?
Hiroshima.
no, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
I'm from Hiroshima.
Do you want to say something in Japanese? Like, はじめまして、私の名前。
はじめまして、私は西原美久です。広島から来ました。私は17歳です。で、I want to speak English well and communicate a lot of people with a lot of people. Thank you.
Yes, and what she said in Japanese is, my name is Miku, and I am from Hiroshima, and I'm 17 years old. And everything else, you're very good. Everybody understood. And when she finishes the year, she's gonna be very, very good. Thank you, Miku.
That's all right. Now we got to brag. Anybody can brag. I got brag. I brag.
Oh, well, the harp group did do a gig on Saturday at the Tower Club for the Alice Gibbons Jones Foundation. Do you know them? Anyway, they're a foundation that helps blind college students get scholarships to college. Yeah, it's really cool. And we've played there for many, many years. We've done their gala for probably 5 or 6 years. Anyway, but we got up there to the Tower Club and there was no air conditioning.
Oh.
And it's on the southwest side of the building. And it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. And by the time we did our second set, it was 90 degrees in there. So yeah, you know, adventures in performance. That was, yeah, but
No, it doesn't.
that's right. I had, yeah. Why is it that all my kids are, anyway, yeah. Also coming up, I just kind of wanted to put this in front of, and we need to get the link and all that stuff on our service page. But coming up, we are going to do a hygiene kit assembly, and I need everybody to purchase stuff for the hygiene kit. I'm going to, when we put it up on the service page, I need to coordinate with Tara. I don't know who to go. Anyway, there's going to be a link, an Amazon link that's a wish list, and y'all can buy off of the wish list. It will get shipped to my house, and then I will bring it the day we are doing our, which is going to be September 12th. So, yeah, December 12th, district governor's here, and that's going to be our work day. And and HEB is supplying the bags. So yay, HEB. All right.
Thank you. September 12th, not December 5th.
September. Oh, is somebody here?
100.
100 is our goal for September 12th. So I am going to brag to, for any of you who don't know, tomorrow is the first day of school. Woo-hoo. Probably why we're missing some of our members. I'm sure they're a little overwhelmed with things getting ready for tomorrow. I'm going to brag how proud I am of my Barron PTA has got their act together, and we got school supplies and spirit wear sold, and all of our kids signed up. We had meet the teacher, and they did an awesome job. So I'm excited for our new year, and we had convocation for all of our staff, and it went very well. This year's theme at Plano ISD is Level Up, which means we're going to go with our amazing history and what we have and push even farther that we know our kids can get to.
Any more brags? Any more brags?
Well, Joanne, I'm proud of you for getting out and getting acclimated to the weather. For those of you, just to put it in the back of your mind, in about 41 or 42 days, we have Balloon Fest. And I've seen some hot Septembers, and this may be one. So, Tamara, I want you to get out and in the elements and everything, get acclimated to the heat, okay? Anyway, no, start recruiting people. I mean, I try to get my sons to work and so forth, but we're going to need a lot of folks to carry this thing over.
Anyone else got a brag? Anybody online has a brag?
I do. I just talking about school. I have 2 seniors, right, that are starting their senior year tomorrow. So, but I feel real good. I feel really good about it, and they do too. And I have one that was already starting her college essay, and I just have to share something that really touched me. So, fun fact about me: I am a history nerd. I particularly Civil War history, and we went to Gettysburg a couple years ago, and for me it was like a bucket list item, and for the kids they didn't really know what they were getting into. So fast forward to 7 years later, and 4 years later, and one of my daughters is writing her college essay about how, her love for history and how it grew, and I found out that it all came back to us going to Gettysburg and me instilling that love of history in her through my love of history. So I was just so touching, and I just have to brag about that because I that was like a good mom moment, you know. It's like, oh, I'm doing something right. So I feel really good about senior year, and I hope everybody has a wonderful upcoming school year.
You have a brag, Roxanne? Oh, you got it.
Not sure it's a brag, but a shout out. She reminded me when she mentioned history, but the new book, Past and Present for Plano, which Jennifer Schertzer, one of our members, was the photographer for. They're having a signing on September the 13th from, I think, around 4 to 7 at the Interurban Museum. So I would encourage everyone to go out and support Jen.
All right. Anybody on the line have a brag?
Got her hand up.
Yes. Yes, I do have a brag. So I also many of y'all may not know, or some of y'all do know, that I have been a lifelong educator. So during the pandemic, I took time away to explore other, passions that I had just wanted to do. So I took a professional sabbatical and retired out of the teacher system. But this year, after, being able to explore whatever the case is, I have decided to go back to the classroom to where, my passion lies in helping students. And I've joined the PISD team. So I will be starting this will be actually my 10th year teaching. So I'm very excited. I'm at Plano West High School. That's actually where I'm driving from right now to join you guys for lunch. So I'll be there in a few minutes. But I'm very excited. I'm in the science department again. And just getting ready for school tomorrow has been very exciting. And I look forward to, working with our students, some of which I've already known from the work I've done in the community. And, just being able to come full circle with my past experience and, working with the staff, which is an amazing staff. And, our wonderful principal, she's awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's my brag for today. I'm back in education.
Amen. Dave, you have a brag?
I have a brag. So during the pandemic, Douglas Visions, myself, and Tamara, we fed, of course, with you all, the help of you all, but we also fed in Waco. So this past weekend, one of the residents in the community that we served in turned 100 years old. And so they had her a really big party in Waco on Saturday. So I was able to attend and help participate in all of that. And this lady is 100, but she acts like she's 60 or 70. She still kicks her legs up when she wants to. She can do high kicks and all of that. So it was just a blessing just to be a part of that that celebration, to see 100, because I don't know many people that lives to be 100 and still be that vibrant. So that's my brag.
Yeah, brag. Anybody else got a brag? Classification talk. Michael? Yes.
Yes, you have to be in front of the table. Yeah, you got to get your suntan.
That'd actually be a cool product.
Yeah.
A halo light that gives you a suntan. All right. Okay, here I am. Weird. I'm not usually too tall for a camera, thanks. All right. So classification talk. Okay, so I look at you or the camera. Go back and forth. All right. So I mentioned some of this in brief when I joined. I started life as an airborne combat medic in the Army. And then I went on to become a nurse in the Army. Airborne combat medic in the Army. Then I went on to become a nurse in the Army. And then I used that to work my way through college. I was poor, so I started at Richland College, go community college, and then went on to UTD to get my bachelor's in physics, and then went to Rice and got my master's and PhD in applied physics, where I worked in carbon nanotechnology. Then I did a little stint in molecular electronics, and then went up to the Air Force Research Lab up in Ohio, and did some nanomaterials and nanobiotechnology. And then this is recorded, so I had to say this diplomatically. I changed careers because of an ethical quandary. In short, I had the choice of legitimizing an unethical scientist or finding a new path. It's a complication of the academic career path. When you go from one university to another, it's not, you can't just one day go, I'm going to a new university. So when you're out of cycle, you don't have a lot of choice. But I made the right choice, the ethical choice, but that took me into corporate America. Someone called me up, you know, healthcare, you know, technology. Why don't you become a technologist, a healthcare technologist for attended healthcare? So I helped them with the technology strategy. That was a lot of fun, a lot of like consulting like work, even though I was in-house. Lots of like just random special projects and fix this problem and solve this thing. And then Dell bought us. And that was at Pro Systems, by the way. Some of you know Pro Systems probably. It was down there at 15th and Custer. And we got bought by Dell Services. Well, we got bought by Dell to become Dell Services. And then the work kind of changed a bit. But I had a chance to, one of our existing contracts go out to the Middle East. And for about a year, I helped build a hospital that was built around digital processes. So minimize paperwork, more modern approach. That was a ton of fun because they have money and are happy to spend it to do the best possible thing. So you got to actually go, this is the best solution. They go, well, let's do that. As opposed to, well, it's kind of expensive. Can use something cheaper, you know? So that was really nice. Then I got involved in agile software development and design thinking. Design thinking basically is where instead of, hey, I think this is a cool idea. I will now convince to buy this. Instead, you go, what is it you need actually? And then you make the thing that the people need, and then you sell the thing. So that's the idea around design thinking. You start with the needs for the people. And so that was really enticing to me. And that really has become my passion, just human-centered design. I don't really kind of care what I'm doing or delivering, as long as we're actually using human-centered design, I'm pretty happy. So it's kind of an empathy-driven way to approach business. And so, let's see, I did a couple of stints, Dell Services. I even taught physics at Collin College for a bit part-time. And then I started working for my current job, JP Morgan and Chase, where I'm what's called a product manager. And what a product manager does is they have a product, surprise, and they use ideally human-centered design to figure out what the customer needs from them, and then deliver that, and then validate it over and over again, and just keep making it better as you go. And so specifically what we work on right now is called developer experience. So when someone in a company wants to execute payments with us, they use something called an API, an application programming interface. It's the technology equivalent of a waiter. You have a menu, you order food, the waiter takes that, goes to the kitchen, it comes back. You don't have to worry about what the kitchen does or tell it how to do it. And that's kind of how an API works. I want this thing, I want it to be like this. Okay, cool, I'll go figure it out, and then I'll give you back the thing you need. And so when they go to execute payments with us, they use these APIs. And my mission is to make sure that that developer, when they sit down at their computer and they don't know what API to use or how to use it, they can easily find it, find out how to use it, the error codes, all that good stuff, so they can very easily and quickly get on with their day and be successful. So that's what I do mostly at JP Morgan and Chase. Outside of work, I am very civically active, mostly in political ways. So, you know, we're apolitical here, so I'll just leave it at that. But most of my energy is around equity of opportunity. So trying to make sure that we don't just have membership that reflects the demographics and diversity. We also have leadership that reflects the demographics and diversity, because if you don't have both of those, something's wrong. And so that's it. Long, short, all that. Oh, 2 dogs, wife Catherine. We live, gosh, I could in a pinch have a very sweaty walk from my house to here almost. It's about 15-20 minute walk, I think. So yeah, we're just down there by Custer and Alma. Sorry, yeah, Park and Alma. So yeah, I think that's about it. Any questions? Do you do questions in these things? All right, any questions?
Yeah, so what exactly do you do?
Sure. So
Try when you answer it. Michael, tell us the truth. Are you Alexa? Alexa, are you Alexa or Siri?
The Amazon.
So I think your question is day to day, what is my job?
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we do a lot of work. It's kind of marketing related where we're trying to figure out what the developer actually needs in this market space. Like, where are they coming from? What is their work like? So it's called creating a persona. It's more than just going, would they need a remote? Do they watch TV? It'd be like, oh no, okay, so this is a single mom who needs to watch TV. And now they have these additional constraints. It could be a reduced attention or a crunch time schedule. So you lean into all the specifics of what they need. So for example, this is development. So what languages are they most comfortable with? How do you present the thing in a way that it's easy to find? It gets down to the minutia, like we support a developer who wants to use Control F to search the page versus a developer who wants to use a search tool versus a developer who wants to browse the nav bars and see those choices there. We satisfy all three of those because people work different ways. Working with other technology needs to make sure we do that. Then we also make sure we're compliant with current standards and specs. Those change constantly. So we may have to rework all of our stuff to make sure it stays up to speed with all that stuff. We work in finance, so we have an additional concern to make sure that we're meeting all the regulatory requirements as well. Entire systems can be completely changed because of a new requirement for privacy protection or a new requirement for security of fund transfer and all sorts of things like that. So it's working with the technology teams to make sure we deliver, keep it up to date, working with the business teams to make sure that we're actually delivering what they need us to deliver, and then also making sure that the market is getting what it needs and our developers are actually getting something cool and useful that competes with our competitors.
Thank you, Michael. He did that at the last minute, so thank you. I think Michael's job make my brain hurt. Good job, Michael. Somebody has to do it so we can survive in this world. So with club business, August in-service meeting project is on the 22nd. I'm really excited about it. I'll talk about it in just a minute. Rotary means business, 12 Cut Steakhouse, August the 8th from 5 to 7:30. Is anybody going to that? Has anybody been going to that? Okay, so good. We should all just show up and really have a presence there together this Friday, I believe it is.
It's tonight.
Today is Tuesday.
It's the 8th.
Oh my goodness, you guys, it's today. Well, I can't go today. I have a meeting. I don't think I can, but if I can, I'll meet you there. The Plano West Rotary Happy Hour at Senior Locals Tex-Mex, August the 11th. That's Friday. That's what I was thinking about. So Laura Johnson has set that up, 5:30 to 7. Let's all show up there together. How about that? And then on Saturday. So tonight, Friday, and Saturday, we've got your week planned for you. District Roundtable, August 12th at Scottish Rite Frisco, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let's really try to show up there if we can, okay? And then I want to slide something in there, which is the Barron Meal Drive. Was it Barron last year?
Yeah.
Okay, Armstrong, okay.
Armstrong Middle School on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, at 4 p.m. Thank you for correcting that. We'll have it in the business notes for next week. Armstrong Middle School on the 22nd at 4 p.m. And then our Rotary District's 5810 Awards Banquet again is August the 26th. Get your tickets for that. And then our district governor, of course, I'm going to keep saying this, will be here September the 12th, and Joanna made the announcement that's going to be an in-service meeting day, which he has requested for all clubs on his visit, and we will be doing the kits for the city of Plano. I believe it's going to, is it people? But I mean, are they giving it to people's neighborhood services? Okay. If I can get the next slide, I just want to quickly introduce our in-meeting service project. It's called Be an Angel. Be an Angel Day is August the 22nd. And as you can probably figure, it's all about just doing good deeds. It's every year it's been, I'm trying not to read this, but every year it's been celebrated for the last 27 years. And it's where you just take time out to do good gestures and kind acts for people all day long. And so we're going to celebrate it. But what I want to do is starting today until August 22nd, I want everybody to just do kind acts whenever you can. Smile at somebody, give somebody a hug, a card, go take care of an elderly neighbor, do something and write it down, because on the 22nd, we will be sharing what the kind acts that we were able to do on this month. And we will be actually filling out cards, encouragement cards, that we will deliver either to elderly community or children's home or veterans. We just hadn't decided yet who we're going to do it to, but we will have a piece of paper out on the table. You don't have to come up with your own words if you don't want to. You can just write the little sentence that's on the card, and we'll sign it from Plano West Rotary Club. And then we are our good Plano West students that are with us on our in-service meeting dates are going to help us to deliver it to whoever we decide that we want to deliver it to. But from today up until next August 22nd, we want to already start our acts of kindness. And just to share, Fred and I, on Friday, we already started. On Friday, we went to my mom and did some things for her that she's been wanting done for a long time. I did meal prep for a week for her, so she doesn't have to worry about cooking any meals or ordering out or anything like that. On Saturday, we went and took care of my dad in Dallas. And then we came back and took care of his mom in Dallas. And then on Sunday, some pastor friends of ours that we knew when we were in Houston had lost their son. And we were able to surprise them and go down to the memorial service down there, which was really a blessing, not only for us, but for all the church down there and everything. And so they were really surprised and really blessed. But it just felt good to be able to serve other people. And that's what I want to encourage us as a club to do this month, is just kind acts and deeds intentionally, on purpose. And then we'll talk about it on the 22nd. And somebody may get a little special award for being a very, very good angel on that day. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Let's move on. So Eero, our president-elect, is coming up to introduce our guest speaker today, who I'm very excited about, which I have to say is my Leadership Plano brother. And so I know y'all have heard a lot about Leadership Plano. So I'm bringing one of us back today.
Hello, everybody. After retiring from the Richardson Fire Department in North Texas, Billy accepted a position at the Texas Health Plano as the EMS Program Manager, where he has been instrumental in growing service lines and continuing education. As a certified instructor with Homeland Security, I feel secure. Billy is well known as a subject matter expert in chemical and biological responses. So okay. For first responders, a recent graduate from University of North Texas at Dallas with a master's degree in public leadership. Billy has been able to put his new skills to work as a current member of Leadership Plano class of 39. Well, the most recently graduated class of 39. I'm assuming you guys are the best class? So this is Billy.
All right, well, that's a pretty good introduction. I don't have to say anything. So let's get some dessert and Miko, right? We'll talk to Miko and she can tell us more about Japan. That'd be very interesting. So while he's pulling that up, it's great to see friends here and hopefully some new ones as we continue to grow. And thank Dr. Thomas for the opportunity to invite me to come over here and share a little bit about myself, the organization that I work for, but most importantly, how we can partner together in the future to make our community just maybe a little bit better when we start talking about health care. So great little background there on Michael. I didn't know that. I didn't know you were a nurse and flu and all that cool stuff, plus the weapons of mass destruction. So yeah, we'll share a little bit about that too. So when you call 911 and the ambulance shows up and the fire trucks and the police officers, those are our first responders, right? And then they scoop up that patient and they take them to the hospital where they're met by the doctors, the nurses, the rest of the staff. That's the first receivers. So Homeland Security has 8 schools for first responders and first receivers from a wide array of topics, from incident management, chemicals, biological warfare, terrorism. And of those 8 schools, 4 are live agent. Is this better? So you can see me now? So 4 of those schools are live agent, where just like basic training in armed services, you're playing with live, ammunition. So you can come out to Alabama, where I teach first responders and first receivers, chemical warfare response. We play with some live anthrax, sarin gas, VX, and I can only share the excitement when you're actually sticking your finger in some sarin gas with minimal PPE to get that high level of confidence, so you can go back to your organizations and just make our community better for the response. If you ever watched Mythbusters, yeah, where they blow up the concrete trucks and all that. So that's New Mexico Tech. You can go out there and you do everything explosive. You start with det cord, TNT, dynamite, Simtech, ammonium nitrate, make 500 pounds, blow up a 1976 Cutlass and do a post-blast analysis. If you really want to get crazy and you like Vegas, you go out to the Nevada test site. Remember those black and white videos they used to show us in schools of when they shut off the bombs, and they built 2 houses. The one with 2x4s and then one with 2x6s. The 2x6 house is still there. And they built a little town around it. You can walk through and your Geiger counters and your radiological monitoring devices, and it still works. And you can count and measure the radiation. They take your boots, they give you a letter, let you get on a plane and fly back home. You're on a list, but you were on the list as soon as you went to the classes in the first place, right? So, but the school that I want to teach at, so anytime there's an opportunity to come out and speak, to share, to educate, to run a course, I want to be a container specialist. Because if you really look at hazardous materials, it's okay as long as they're in the container. It's when they get out of the container that they become a problem, either accidentally or intentionally, right? So I will always say yes for an opportunity, because I want to kind of build up that resume, because that school is in the port of Honolulu. And I think my wife would really like me getting that job. So my current job is I'm the EMS Program Manager for Texas Health Plano. So when I retired from the fire department, I started doing this. And I like to tell everybody, I stock the candy. Hey, what do you do at the hospital? My job is to keep the firefighters and the paramedics happy. And you can imagine 3 o'clock in the morning, I was asleep, right? We had a hard day of training. We finally got to bed after dinner and I'm asleep, and 911 goes off and you have to wake up and run across town, lights and sirens, and somebody's having a stroke and you got to save their life. You usually don't wake up right away. You wake up a little bit down the road, might be in the back of the ambulance with a patient heading to the hospital. So my job is to kind of help go out into our community and share with our amazing paramedics and firefighters and police officers what makes us the closest appropriate medical facility. Hospitals are designated by these service lines. This hospital does burns, this hospital has babies, this hospital does stroke, right? And at 3 o'clock in the morning, me and you riding that ambulance, it's very important that we get the right patient to the right hospital. So we all watched these shows back in 1972, Emergency, right? We still use these at the fire departments today. We just call them continuing education. It's a good opportunity to get inside with the air conditioning, watch some good, about the bicarbonate, the sodium, potassium. And we actually had Squad 51, the actual truck came out and joined us 2 years ago at Texas Health Plano. So it was an awesome opportunity to take some pictures. And you saw a bunch of the old guys come back, and they saw it on social media and they wanted their picture in the truck, just like their heroes, Johnny and Roy. So this was our hospital when we opened in 1991. And our leaders were very strategic and had this great forefront vision that, the city of excellence was going to boom. And we needed to put a hospital way out in the country. It opened on January 1st, 1991 at midnight. And it was a partnership between Presbyterian Hospital and Children's Medical Center, because they knew a young growing town were going to have a lot of babies. Unfortunately, the houses weren't there for a while and there wasn't any babies. And in fact, it took 2 days before the first emergency department patient came in. It wasn't the guy riding the horse, but that was there. That happened that day. So the leaders were kind of sitting around like, uh-oh, did we make a bad decision here? You know, are there going to be people? Well, as you can see, they didn't miss anything, did they? So this is our campus today. And not only do we have, originally we had 91 beds. We now have 338 licensed healthcare beds, 2 towers that are just medical office buildings that house physicians, the SUD, the Mill Tower as well. And then across the street, we have the Texas Health Surgical Center and Diagnostic Center. So it has grown a lot. It also includes an on-site childcare center and the C Behavioral Health. So when we talk about behavioral health in a community, right, this is something that touches everybody's family. It's an epidemic that's growing and it's only going to get worse. And these are ways that we can come together as a community. We can partner to make healthcare just more easily accessible and better for the citizens that it's designed to serve. Along with those 338 beds, we have 1,700 physicians, 700 nurses that are at bedside, and another staff of just 1,300 physicians that support those staffs, including 200 volunteers. We were so happy when COVID was over. Not only did we get to take down all the tents, our volunteers were able to come back to work for us. And you can imagine that loss of historical knowledge that the hospital suffered because they couldn't come and be part of our team. As you see, it's not the same little hospital that we built in 1991. Now we have 5,300 emergency room visits. Just 3 years ago, the emergency ambulances would bring us about 800 patients a month. This month, we just finished with 1,205. So it's only getting hotter. It's only getting busier. And you saw that picture, we built those towers. We don't have enough beds right now. And in fact, the hospital council has told us in our region, in our community right now, we need 600 beds just to serve our current population. So if you took the big 3 hospitals and each hospital added 200 beds, that would almost double our size. And that's just to handle the patients that we have today. Not to even imagine the 33 people who move to Texas every minute. 33 people every minute. I am still astounded by that stat.
How many are leaving?
None, not yet. Not yet. And that domestic migration, you know, we're not seeing as much as the international migration as we are seeing the domestic migration from the West Coast over to here. And you see it in just the cost of housing, gas, everything is going up. Our service lines are what makes us special or what make us unique. And that's where my job comes in. So my job is to help craft that message that I can take to our EMS partners of what makes us the closest appropriate facility. Because if we don't have enough beds, we want to make sure we get the right patient to the right hospital just that initial time. And then a big part about it is now you start hearing about these extended wait times where EMS is not able to come in and just drop off the patient because we don't have an open room. Our room, every morning in the ER, we start off with 25 rooms out of the 53 because it's kind of staggered. We have nurses that come in at 9, come in at 11, come in at 3. It's not uncommon for all the hospitals to be holding 27 patients from the day before. So if I've only got 25 rooms, I'm holding 27 patients. That means we start off with 2 in the hall. And that's where we're practicing medicine. So that communication between the hospitals and the EMS providers of how we can get them in and get them out and get back in service, because there's probably another 911 call waiting for them as soon as they clear up. So we're a level 2 trauma facility, level 4 maternal and ICU, which is the highest, means we can take care of the moms and the babies when it's a high risk pregnancy. We're a comprehensive stroke where we can go in there and pull that clot out of your head. And I'm going to share that with you. And we're also a primary heart attack center. You always hear about this door to balloon time, right? You have a heart attack. They got to go up in there in the wire and they got to put a little thing to open your vessel up where the blood starts flowing. That goal is 90 minutes. So about an hour and a half from you having a heart attack, if they don't get that blood flowing again, your heart's going to die. You're going to, then that's pretty bad because then it's not beating. So with the primary heart attack center, And because we want more of this community healthcare response, we've changed that goal from 90 minutes from the time they hit the door to putting that balloon in to 90 minutes from the first time that they walk into your house, put you on that cardiac monitor, run that ECG, hit a button, transport it to us. We take it, show it to the physician. He shows it to the cardiologist. They open the cath lab. And before you're in the back of the ambulance, they've already got your name in the system. Stickers are being printed out and you're going to go right to that cath lab. The success of this program and being able to talk to those people and share this, that goal of 90 minutes, we started to see it drop down. We'd get it down into the 60s. And I'm like, that's amazing. We'll never get under 60. And then you see the 50s. We ended last year with Plano Fire Rescue, 30 minutes, 31, and 33 minutes. From the time that they had a heart attack to that blood flowing. And you know, so being able to share that with those paramedics and those firefighters, you can see the success of this and look at the healthcare system that we're building for our community. To do this, we added a new helipad, and this is something I'm really excited about. So if you ever get the opportunity to come over to the hospital, shoot me a text. I've got my number on here. I'll give you the tour. We'll walk up on top. This is the only IFR, VFR rated elevated heated pad with a level 2 trauma, level 4 maternal, level 4 NICU, comprehensive stroke, PHAC certification, south of Norman, Oklahoma. So you start thinking about all those snowmageddons that pop up. When those helicopters cannot fly, how long is it going to take to drive you in an ambulance from this hospital where they got you to down here where they can open that up? And then you can see that 30 minutes it start to grow again, right? And then that damage. So as soon as this thing gets to a certain temperature, it kicks on, pumps through heated antifreeze, thaws it out, and we can fly them in. So part of my job is now, because we've got 33 people moving to Texas every minute, we can't build a big enough hospital right now, can we? So we're using the helicopters kind of like the old spoken hub that we used to use back in the 70s and 80s, build smaller freestanding hospitals out in these rural communities where everybody's moving to, sharing that education of what makes us the closest appropriate, and then using helicopters to fly those patients in after they're stable. The best part of my job after I stock the candy is being able to go out and spin little success stories with our EMS partners. And everybody, I mean, just look at the smiles on their faces, right? This is a great opportunity. And we'll take our hospital presidents, our chief nursing officers, get all the crew together. I'll usually pick up a couple breakfast burritos. We show up, help them wash the truck, and then do a nice little coin presentation, a challenge coin, and tell them, hey, good job. Because next time at 3 o'clock in the morning, now they've got a little background, they've got a little education, they've got a case study, and that's what they're going to remember to make sure that we get you to the right hospital as fast as possible. And this is our STEMI Wall of Fame. This is our current leader in the clubhouse. This is a great story. What I couldn't zoom in to show you the pictures, but you'll see it here in a second. So this is a 34-year-old male who was sitting at home playing video games all morning, complaining to his wife that he was having chest pain. And she was, of course, what did she say? Turn off the video games, get up, go do something else, right? A house down the street catches on fire. All the fire department shows up. They put the house out. The wife takes it upon herself to walk out there and grab one of the firefighters. Hey, before you leave, can you come check out my husband? He's been having chest pain all day. Firefighters like, yeah, sure. They walk into the house, put him on an EKG. He's got ST elevation, 2-3 AVF. 33 minutes later, he's opened up. He's got blood flowing through his heart. 30 years old, right? So great communication, it works. This is awesome. This is the blood vessel in your head that delivers all the oxygen to your brain. And you can see this one over here on the far left. It has a little tiny clot in it, probably one of the most common clots. What's unique is this is a 42-year-old mom who was riding her bicycles with her kids to school right at the end of the year. Dropped the kids off, just something doesn't feel right. She's a little confused. She sits down on the curb and she just can't figure out what's wrong with her. School nurse is walking in, stops, does a quick assessment, you know, don't go slow, go fast, facial droopage, arm drift, slurred speech, say silly string. And then most important one, time, right? This little basic education to realize this 42-year-old woman is having a stroke. Brought her to the hospital, right there in the middle. Those are the little clots that the neurointensivist told me that those are huge, but you can see just how microscopic they are. And they were able to pull it out and then look at all the blood flow through the brain. And that took like 14 minutes to reperfuse that brain. So here in our area, we are very healthcare rich. We are so blessed to not only have the 911 systems, the amazing Plano Fire Rescue, the investment of the cities to have ambulances so close to these neighborhoods that we can get you to that right hospital. We've got all the big hospitals that are located right here in our neighborhood. So you've got a much better chance of surviving a critical acute episode than you do if you live in Cattle Mills out there with me, or Greenville, or up north in Gainesville, or you look at Ennis, or you look at Rockwall, these outlying areas where all these 33 people are moving to every minute. So as a community, as leaders in this room, what can we do to partner with, right? So we've started talking to this very difficult conversation about being inclusive, inclusivity in healthcare, that the World Health Organization declared that healthcare is a right for everybody. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter who you love. It doesn't matter where you go to church. It doesn't matter who you voted for, right? We're all members of this community. And if we all look at our individual businesses, and one thing that we can all say that's similar, we'll never have enough people. Would you agree? It was always a big thing that we would do in training. There's always two things you can improve in training. First is communication, and two is more people. You're never going to have enough people. So why are we trying to push anybody out when we need more? The difficult part is how do we have those conversations when there's a language barrier, when there's a cultural barrier? We did a nice little exercise the other day where you got to make up your own culture, you know, and we shared that. And mine was, I'm lake trash. On the weekends, we have a camper down at Lake Fork. My shirts don't have sleeves on the weekend. If I'm wearing shoes, it's probably because it's hot outside. And if you don't know me, and if you're just coming through the park and you roll up and you see me out there, you're going to judge me. You're going to put me in a stereotype, and you're not going to know what I'm like Monday through Friday. But so when we start looking at how we can expand these resources, you know, we're so lucky here, but yet we have neighbors that don't speak those languages, that don't have those shared beliefs. One of the big challenges, and I feel like we're all friends here now in this room, that I'll share with you, you can tell I have a little bit of an accent, right? I grew up here in Duncanville, Texas. I went to school here. I haven't traveled abroad. When I get talking real fast, that accent really comes out. But in my culture, my parents also raised me to be very respectful. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. So there's challenges that I have just in the hospital every day where somebody will ask me a question and I want to respond, yes, ma'am. But yet some will find that offensive, or that's not quite the right appropriate language. So how do we have these difficult conversations? How do we bring more people in and say, how can I communicate with you better? Because it's not always just about language, is it? And how do we share all these amazing resources that we have right now with these amazing hospitals and this healthcare, you know, system? So that's one of the strong parts of my position is I really get to go out there now, and we're out there in these rural communities, and we're trying to share that. And these are some tips, and these are just some tips that came from a research paper out of the National Institute of Health, sponsored by the World Advocacy, and we can all be aware of assumptions. Would you agree? Don't judge me because I'm got on a wife beater with no sleeves on my shirt and offering you a margarita. You want watermelon? You want orange? Is that fair? Replace the labels. You know, one of the big challenges that we're having right now is a growing population of our unhoused have behavioral health issues. And they're out there riding the DART train just to stay out of the heat. And then they're coming into our ERs, and I need this inclusive space. How am I going to provide them a safe harbor when they're not bathed? They haven't had a bath in a while, you know, but yet now your family member just came in with a massive stroke and we're having to share this small ER waiting room space. These are little things that we've got a little bit of time on our hands. We can start forward thinking, how can we better serve our populations? Appropriate communication. I don't think we can ever win that battle, right? I don't want to call it a war. It's a battle. It's ongoing, but we can be better at communicating. You know, give me some better answers and I'll give you some better questions. We can partner together. And then the most important one probably is just advocate. You know, don't be afraid of change. Change is nothing but an opportunity. An enemy is someone I haven't won over yet. Give me a moment to go in there and share the message, share the opportunities, bring you in. We need more people. We need to be more inclusive, because if we're not, the alarming thing is we only have so many available beds. If we're not efficient in how we manage that healthcare, we're not going to be successful. Gotta go. All right. So we actually put this into practice. We are Leadership Plano Class 39. We sponsored a community health fair, and we identified two targeted populations, Venezuelan and Ukraine. Venezuela that were fleeing political persecution, and there's a war in Ukraine. And this young lady was actually sitting at one of the tables. We talked about don't be stereotypes, right? Don't put labels on them. I walk by, I see her. I'm like, hey, thank you for coming out today. She's like, yes. And I'm like, make sure you go over there and get you one of them hamburgers. Community Credit Union of Texas and Lynn brought that food truck. Those are good hamburgers. If you ain't had one, go get two. And she's like, yes. And then I realized there's a language barrier. So I walked over and I'm like, hey, what can I help you with? We had our flyer that we had made up in Spanish for the Venezuelan population. And we had one that was made up in Russian. And she had that flyer, and her daughter had a hearing disability. And they had just got here from Ukraine, and she wasn't able to hear, and she needed help getting a doctor. But because we were partnering with these amazing hospitals and we put them in a parking lot, we were able to find her a doctor that day using Google Translate on a phone. Yeah. Yep. Other great success stories. I look over and there's this older Hispanic lady standing there, and I walked over. Hey, thank you for coming out. Is there anything I can help you with? And she had our flyer in Spanish. She had found a lump on her breast, and for fear of deportation, couldn't go to the doctor, but we were offering free mammograms. She came out, took advantage of that. We were able to sign her up. And the good news is it wasn't cancer, and she's home resting free and with peace of mind. So we are going to be hosting our next community health fair, partners with Douglas Community. I hope I did a pretty good kind of sharing the need of how we all come together as a community, and we would love y'all to be partners with us in this endeavor. This is my personal information. You've got my email, you've got my cell phone. Please don't hesitate. If there's anything I can do to help, shoot me a text. Other than that, thank you for allowing me to come out and share a little bit with you. I've enjoyed it.
Stay up. I'm gonna get, hold on. We got about 1 minute for questions. So I saw two people. So go ahead, Catherine.
When is that health fair?
I'll tell you that in just a minute. Question.
On the helipad tour, you can get on a helicopter.
He's asking Kim to get on the helicopter pad tour.
There's a helicopter there. I will get you a ride.
So we'll make sure we know when it's there. So the health fair is going to be October the 22nd. It's 28th, I'm sorry, from 10 to 2. It'll be in the Douglas community at Avenue F Church of Christ in their parking area across the street. And everybody's welcome. It's a health fair and fall festival. And so we're really
Everybody here
Volunteers. We're gonna tell y'all.
Yeah, we'll have it as a service project on it, but we got time, we got time. So Billy, thank you so much for coming today. So in appreciation, let me get over here in the light. In appreciation for your time and the program you've given us today, Plano West Rotary is going to be donating $10 in your name to the Rotary Polio Plus Fund. And together with the 2-to-1 matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, your $10 is going to turn into $30, and we will be able to provide a polio vaccine for up to 50 children. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, I think we're at the point, our next meeting is going to be August the 15th. I'm sorry, I didn't change the date on that. I'm really excited about it. Sergeant Patrick Sowers from Operation Once in a Lifetime. I just happened to find up about them, and they are a veterans organization that tries to meet the wishes and demands of veterans. And he had just gotten back from taking veterans up to the National Cemetery in Washington so they could visit their loved ones and all of that. I'm just really excited about what we will hear next week, and all the wonderful work that they're doing for veterans. So that's going to be our meeting next week. And then if we can stand up for our 4-way test. The 4-way test of things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And 5, is it fun? Rotary, you are dismissed.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you guys online, Laura.
Have a great day, everyone.
Well, yeah. See you. Bye-bye.